Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to SafeHub.tv with your host, today FD. Today we are going to review one of the latest Layer 1 projects to join the cryptocurrency space, and that project is Aptos. So what I'm going to share with you guys in this video is not financial advice. If you do require financial advice, I think by now you know what to do. Please approach someone who is trying to give you financial advice. The information contained in this video is just for educational as well as entertainment purposes. So what is Aptos? A Layer 1 blockchain that is being built as the next generation of Layer 1 blockchains. With its mainnet launching in October 2022, Aptos is relatively new, developed by former Facebook DM project. Facebook now Meta shelved plans to develop its own blockchain back in early 2022. Aptos is a Layer 1 proof-of-stake blockchain that employs a novel smart contract programming language called Move, a Rust-based programming language that was independently developed by Meta's DM blockchain engineers. You might be screaming, not another Layer 1. Well, I can't blame you there, especially when we don't have that many convincing use cases for the ones we already have. However, we do not know just yet which one is going to be the Layer 1 that will come out on top. Is it going to be Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and so forth? Therefore, I do believe there's still room for more innovative blockchains and more innovative Layer 1s and Layer 0s, as well as Layer 2s, if you want to call them that. The leading Layer 1 is still plagued by scaling issues, even with Layer 2 scaling solutions on board, since users will still need to transfer their Ethereum tokens from the Layer 1 mainnet to Layer 2s, which still can be crazy expensive. I don't know with you, I do use Arbitrum, Optimism, and even some of the sidechains. You still need to transfer your Ethereum tokens before you can start dealing on any of these Layer 2 blockchains. So it is still a big issue. By the way, there are two supposedly separate entities in the Aptos Foundation and the Aptos Labs. Starting with the Aptos Labs, the Aptos Lab is tasked with developing the tooling and products on the Aptos blockchain that define Web3 user experience. As for the Aptos Foundation, its remit is to support and develop the Aptos network and the ecosystem. Does that make things any more clearer for you? I don't know. Let us know in the comment section. But I think there is a distinction, even though there might be an overlap, there is a distinction between the two entities that are involved in the development of Aptos, the network as well as the blockchain. So how does Aptos reach its consensus? Aptos utilizes a parallel execution engine, also known as Block-STM, which is a Byzantine fault-tolerant or BFT proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. For context, most blockchains execute transactions sequentially, which means that a single failed transaction or high demand on the network could hold up the entire chain. But that's not how Aptos operates. It uses a totally different consensus mechanism. Let's jump into some of the value propositions for Aptos. Again, this is not a conclusive list. Aptos blockchain is designed for ultimate scalability through its Move programming language. The Aptos data model enables flexible key management and hybrid custodial options. This provides a safer and more trustworthy user experience. And to achieve high throughput and low latency, the Aptos blockchain leverages a pipelined and modular approach for the key stages of transaction processing, thereby optimizing hardware efficiency and parallel execution. And Aptos blockchain's parallel execution does not limit developers by requiring upfront knowledge of the data to be read and written. It uses Block-STM, which is a parallel execution engine for smart contracts built around the principles of software transactional memory. The Aptos modular architecture design supports client flexibility and optimizes for frequent and instant upgrades. Also, Aptos supports shared or autonomous accounts that are represented entirely on-chain. This allows complex decentralized autonomous organizations or DAOs to collaboratively share accounts. Now, as part of our DYOR risk evaluation, as you already know guys, we do apply our 13 elements as part of our DYOR toolkit. And that DYOR toolkit consists of 13 elements that we look into or review as part of that exercise. And those 13 elements as follows. You got decentralization, scalability, security, interoperability, project team, social media presence via Twitter as well as on Discord. Then we also look at the use cases both for the primary token as well as the fundamental use cases based on the infrastructure of the blockchain. Then we go into tokenomics, where we cover 4 areas in tokens issued at project launch, tokens in circulation at the point of recording, maximum tokens available, as well as insider token allocation. So starting with decentralization, the Aptos blockchain is comprised of a set of validators that jointly receive and process transactions from users using a Byzantine fault-tolerant or BFT proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. Token holders lock up or stake tokens in their selected validators. Each validator's consensus voting weight is proportionate to the amount staked into it. A validator can be active and participate in consensus. Likewise, a validator may also be inactive if it does not have enough stake to participate, rotates out of the validator set. A elects to be offline as it synchronizes blockchain state or is deemed not participating by the consensus protocol due to poor historical performance. So bad behavior would actually lead to validators being ruled out from taking part in creating consensus on the Aptos blockchain. So within Aptos, clients are any part of the system that need to submit transactions or query the state and history of the blockchain. Clients can choose to download and verify validator signed proofs. Full nodes are clients that replicate the transaction and blockchain state from the validators or from other full nodes in the network. They may elect to prune transaction history and blockchain state as desired to reclaim storage. Light clients only maintain the current state of validators and can query partial blockchain state securely, typically from full nodes. So light clients might include things like wallets. Those are light clients because they are only looking at current state of the blockchain, not the entire history of the blockchain. So that's that on decentralization for Aptos. When it comes to security, Aptos utilizes the Move programming language, which is a smart contract programming language with an emphasis on safety and flexibility. The Aptos blockchain uses Move's object model to represent its ledger state and uses Move codes or modules to encode rules of state transitions. Users submit transactions that can publish new modules, upgrade existing modules, execute entry functions defined within a module, or contain scripts that can directly interact with the public interfaces of modules. Move leverages a bytecode verifier to guarantee type and memory safety even in the presence of untrusted code. So that is one of the key elements when it comes to security of using the Move programming language. To help write more trusted code, Move includes a formal verifier, the Move prover, capable of verifying the functional correctness of a Move program against a given specification, formulated in the specification language, integrated into Move. So again, you can see the security is actually commencing at the language level instead of waiting until the infrastructure is in place and then try and patch for security. This reminds me of something that Cardano have done with Haskell, but time will tell whether that was the best move or not. I mean, it's got to be the best and secure programming language, but also a language that developers would want to use. If you go for a language that developers are not interested in, you end up with a ghost chain. I'm not saying Aptos or Cardano are ghost chains. I'm just mentioning programming languages, they need to be accessible, put it that way. So that's that on security. When it comes to scaling, Aptos is reported to achieve a theoretical transaction throughput of over 150,000 transactions per second through parallel execution. Ethereum scaling is around 12 to 15 transactions per second by comparison. That said, early reports of only 9 TPS do not do Aptos any favors. There were reports that it was very slow, having come onto the scene with much hype around its high transaction per second or high TPS. It must also be stated that Ethereum scaling has improved a lot since more and more layer 2s have joined the network. Here I'm referring to the likes of Arbitrum, Optimism, Immutable X and so forth, as well as other sub-chains such as Polygon and Moonbeam and Polkadot Parachain. I know there are other layer 1s and a lot more EVM compatible chains or sidechains for Ethereum that help increase or that help scale the Ethereum blockchain. All transactions on Aptos are processed simultaneously and validated afterwards. Failed transactions are either re-executed or aborted thanks to the blockchain's transactional memory libraries, support and manage conflicts. So again, security being embedded or integrated at language level. That is good news to the space. Now onto interoperability, one of the key elements that we review as part of our DYO or risk evaluation. Because Aptos is written in a completely new language in Move, it is safe to state that for now, the only blockchains it could effectively connect to are those that share the same or similar programming language, and one comes to mind, and that is Sui Network, the recently launched Layer 1 blockchain. No surprises there, as both teams behind these two projects, that is Aptos and Sui Network, have their origins emanating from Diem, Facebook, now Meta, discontinued project. In addition, the use of bridges such as the Aptos bridge, Axelar, Multichain, Wormhole, and so forth do connect the Aptos ecosystem to a number of other Layer 1s. So again, there is no shortage of options to connect Aptos to other Layer 1s. The only one that I can think of that it can connect to natively, if you can call it that, will be Sui Network. The others, it will be via bridges and this so-called Wormhole, which I think is a special type of a bridge. Now let's jump into token distribution. Ticker symbol APT, total token supply 1,032,789,818 with no hard cap. Circulating supply 190 million. The initial distribution of Aptos ticker symbol APT is as follows. Mind you, there is no hard cap, so this is the initial distribution and it's an inflationary token. 51.02% was allocated to the community, 19% was allocated to core contributors, 16.5% was allocated allocated to the foundation, 13.48% was allocated to investors. According to our own calculation, the insider token allocation comes up to just under 49%. It's coming in at 48.98% of the initial supply. There you have it. Is way higher than our threshold of 30%. We could push it through extenuating circumstances all the way up to 45, but 48 is way above what we'll actually accept is reasonable. But there you have it, each to their own. Mind you, 49% is not the worst. We've seen projects that are very close to 100%. Case in point, one of the projects we recently reviewed, Internet Computer, which was sitting at 98.2 or 98 point something percent. I think it was 98.2 or 0.3%, which is extremely high. Everything is geared towards insiders. That cannot be good for the community. Mind you, from an investor's point of view or retail investor's point of view, a project cannot exist without its community. But then from a developer point of view, there's no community without a project or product offering. So it's a case of chicken and egg. Which one comes first? And people do abuse the term fair launch. Some of these projects, I can't call it a fair launch, but credit where it's due. Aptos at least did provide some airdrops to my recollection. So kudos to them. Anyway, use cases, ticker symbol APT. The APT token holders can vote on chain to determine the direction of the Aptos project with proposals following specific scoping, which we are going to highlight here. So the first element of the scope is changes to the blockchain parameters, for example, epoch duration and the minimum required and maximum allowed validator state. Changes to the core blockchain codes, upgrades to the Aptos framework modules for fixing bugs or for adding or enhancing the Aptos blockchain functionality. Deploying new framework modules. So all these, they form part of the voting proposals for the Aptos blockchain. If any proposal doesn't fit within this scope, then I do believe it might not be accepted as a valid proposal, but that's just my own take. Anyway, let's continue with the use cases. Users can utilize the Aptos naming service to create ordinary wallet names that are readily human readable instead of a long sequence of characters which illustrate the non-user friendliness side of Web3. Developers can also build dApps or decentralized applications as well as NFTs on top of Aptos, but that again is not an exhaustive list. If you want to know more, I'll leave some links below. You may want to dive into Aptos to find out what it's all about. When it comes to social media presence, via Twitter, Aptos has got just over 385,300 Twitter followers, as well as just over 151,000 Discord members. So again, very high numbers, which suggests that Aptos was a very popular project. And considering its price at the moment, which is fluctuating between the $9 to $10 mark, I think the Aptos community is alive and strong compared to what's happening to its fellow Move-based project in Sui Network. Again, it's just launched. We don't know where things will go, but the shenanigans around lack of an airdrop, I think most people are staying away, especially with such an aggressive vesting schedule where in about a month's time, there is going to be a lot of tokens that are going to vest and therefore they are going to dilute current holders' values. Again, that's just my take. Maybe those tokenomics will work for the team, but I don't think they'll work for the wider public. Anyway, so as part of our DYO, our risk evaluation, like I said, we are going to apply our 13 elements, and once we've reviewed those 13 elements, some of them we just covered them briefly. We'll then score each of those elements from 0 to 10, 0 being the lowest, 10 being the maximum or the best. Once we've allocated those scores, we aggregate them, and then the aggregate score is what we then classify under the following risk categories. The reason why we go for a risk approach is you're trying to minimize risk. In any investment, there is always an inherent risk. So what we're trying to do here is to minimize the level of risk. Whether it will work to our favor or not, no one knows, but you can only try. So here we are trying to control the risk. So the 4 levels of risks are as follows. If a project scores from 110 to 130 out of 130, we call that go for it category. This is the least risk category. The one below that, we call that potential category. A project will have scored 90 to 109 points out of 130. Third level down, we call that could go to 0 category, and the project will have scored 65 to 89 points out of 130. And lastly, the highest risk according to our own evaluation and reviews, no go category. Here, project will have scored 0 to 64 points out of 130. So here are the scores we've allocated to Aptos. Decentralization, 5 points out of 10. Security, 7.5 points out of 10. Scaling, 7.5 points out of 10. Interoperability, 5 points out of 10. Project team, 10 points out of 10. Social media presence via Twitter, 7.5 points. Via Discord, 7.5 points out of 10. Age of the project, Aptos is a relatively newer project, so we are going to apply 2.5 points out of 10. Use cases, 10 points out of 10, because I believe Aptos has got use cases in, as we always say, bucket loads. So 10 points out of 10 there. Tokens issued at project launch, 2.5 points out of 10. Total tokens in circulation at the point of recording, 5 points out of 10. Now, the following two, we are going to give 0 on each. That is maximum tokens available, as there is no hard cap. Our criteria is 0 points for a project without a hard cap. Inside the token allocation, again, like we've already highlighted, our threshold is 30%. If we push it, it's 45%. Aptos is coming in at 48%, which is way higher than even the worst case scenario according to our own analysis. Therefore, we are going to proceed and give Aptos 0 out of 10. So just imagine if those two were within our criteria. Aptos will have been one of the few projects to scratch the probably between the 80 to 90 score mark. Why? Because Aptos, I think, it's a very decent project. Just unfortunate that the tokenomics, again, they are skewed towards insiders, and I think it's heavily inflationary. So even though they do state that the staking rewards, they will be decreasing by a certain percentage until it reaches, I think it's about the 3.5% or so. Don't quote me on that, but that's what they state. So currently it's heavily inflationary. So based on that, those are the scores we have given to Aptos. Do you guys agree? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Now, if we aggregate the total scores, it comes up to 70 points out of 130. So do you guys agree with those scores? Let us know in the comment section. 70 points out of 130 puts Aptos within the could go to 0 category, which is a majority of the project within the crypto space. They could all go to 0. But wouldn't we all want Aptos to fall within a higher level category, which is relatively less riskier than where it's got to? Of course. But again, it's still a new project. You never know. Maybe over time things will change. Do you guys think Aptos is a good project to invest in? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Our thoughts currently, I do not hold Aptos, but if I were to invest into one of the so-called next generation blockchains between Aptos and Sui, I'm most likely going to go with Aptos, because Sui comes with its own baggage, which is not the subject of this video. Do you hold Aptos? Let us know the reasons why you chose Aptos below. And do you think, as they claim, is the next level blockchain or next generation blockchain Sui and Aptos? Do you agree with that statement? Let us know in the comment section. Until next time, guys, this is FD for Safe5.tv signing out for now. Bye.